What's up, everybody? Welcome to Versus. I am John Marr, and that is Will Cohen, and we really are nearing the end of this journey that we've had. I mean, there's still plenty of we can go on for a while, but as far as the Jagged Edge appropriate horror movies go, we almost have them all covered. Let me say first, Will, how are you?
I'm doing great. This be yeah, this is our very first one of 2025.
Yep.
And I think that we honestly, personally, I feel like we picked a great one to start off the year because honestly, I could, we will be running this down point by point. And it's going to sound like an absolute fever dream. No, this is 100% an actual movie that actually came out in 2024.
Yeah. You've heard there was a movie that was a parody horror movie when it came out, it legitimately called Snakes on a Plane. Then Jagged Edge actually had put out a movie called Spiders in the Attic. What do you get when you merge those two movies together? You get Spiders on a Plane.
What would you say is your worst phobia?
No, no, please. Go aboard.
Welcome aboard, madam.
Generally pretty smooth sailing.
Why is it so empty?
It's the cost of living crisis.
We're gonna have a great time, make loads of memories. I think. I don't know if you saw those things, but they weren't exactly normal-sized spiders.
We're gonna have to find somewhere to land this plane.
It's time to kill some spiders.
Just God damn it. This movie came out in 2024. This is one of the newer Jagged Edge movies, and it appears that when they were dividing up where all the Winnie the Pooh proceeds go to, none of it went towards this movie. They were like, "Oh, you want to make a movie about spiders? Well, fuck your spiders. You're not getting any of this sweet, sweet Winnie the Pooh money." Uh, this is the pinnacle. It is more just it is bad CGI on top of bad CGI on top of bad CGI. But Will, your initial thought?
Yes, I will give you that this is bad CGI. But where where they finally did what I've been asking them to do for a long time. If you're not going to spend the money on CGI, they clearly spent it on the writing. They absolutely knew what kind of dog shit movie they were going to make or could afford to make, and clearly told the writers, make this as silly as humanly possible in an intentional way, and they ran with it. They definitely made like the most intentional comedy that Jagged Edge has ever made.
I'm gonna say that this movie, like the downfall, like the you're getting a half star majority of Jagged Edge movies is because like it is a stupid premise and there's no comedy built in. They play it totally straight. So the strength of this movie is that they finally realized in like their fifth year of production, like these movies are shit. Can we add some comedy to it? And like they actually do. And a lot of the characters are funny, I guess. Yeah, I'm gonna give that to you. It's not being played straight, so that's good. But
Yeah, I know this is going to be the one that we differ on, like 100% differ on. I'm going to do everything I can to sell you on this film, and the people watching this, I'm going to sell you on this film because Like this needs to go into like the annals of like the Room levels of just straight cheese. I love it so much.
Well, let's get into the movie itself. So the cold open, which they kind of showed the entire cold open in the trailer, is there is like a, I don't know, are they Russian? They are some Eastern Bloc mafioso group, and
Well,
they're
I feel
torturing
I feel like that's like this is like the one part that didn't really keep consistent, because like the one guy is like playing it like Jason Statham, like he's like 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 third rate Jason Statham.
Gustav. Are you an informant?
Wrath.
Put you in it, like like that. He's talking like
Everyone
that.
else,
They're
everyone else is like
clearly
Russian or Eastern
people,
Europe.
because the scientist dude is Russian, and I believe isn't like the henchman Russian as well.
Yeah, he lies.
The henchman is Russian. I swear, like
Yeah, but the main guy, you're right. The main guy is like Mark doing a bad Mark Strong impression.
But like
yeah,
I felt the scientist was German.
This is not what my experiments were meant for.
Like he starts
They
out
refer to him
Russian
as, like,
here and
Russian
then like
a bunch of
acts
times.
German later.
Yeah, they refer to him as Russian, like, don't they? Like, is a Russian?
Like,
they're all British people just doing shitty accents.
pretty much.
Yeah. So they torture this dude, and then for they're torturing the guy just on like regular like street crime level bullshit. But then they decide they're going to just put all the spiders on a plane and send the scientists with them for no reason. I don't understand what the end goal is.
I'm supposed to be something like that.
I do not care.
Do not understand the consequences.
Shut up and move.
Bringing the spiders to America, but there's some kind of like talk of like, oh, it's like like every Jagged Edge movie, there's military implications, but the military are nowhere near.
Right. Like it seems like this is supposed to be like a what I got out of it, and maybe I am either adding something or missing something, but it sounded like they said that they were trying to make a terrorist attack.
Maybe.
That's what it kind of sounded like. It's like, we're going to send these over and send a message.
Now, this is kind of where the bad guys, I get, even though like they have no skin in the game. Like they just put the dude on the plane with the spiders. So basically, they're these super spiders. And the only thing protecting the Earth from these super spiders is that basketball-sized wooden box.
They're just on and on. It's not nice,
is basically it. So they must have known that this was going to happen, though it doesn't seem like they expected this to happen.
Ish.
I guess.
Like I will say this. The first like 5-10 minutes of this film, maybe even the first like 15, definitely started out the typical Jagged Edge way, where there's not a lot of exposition. There's either too much exposition or not enough exposition. This is definitely not enough exposition for why this is happening. Yeah. But then I feel like we get an overabundance of exposition on the B plot, which is this friend's trip to Bogota.
But there'll be cities too, right?
Yeah. Yes. It's Colombia. There'll be something for everyone. I've made sure.
Yeah, they're going to Colombia. So basically, the terrorist group made up of British people and Russian people are sending spiders to Colombia. You figure out the geopolitical reason why that would fucking happen. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like,
unless they're trying to like send these spiders to kill like their coat crops.
Is that what they're doing?
Why not?
That would be 100%. If they're like, yeah, we're waging war on the cartel. If they just said that one line, the movie makes sense then. But they don't. Anyway, yeah. So this group of girlfriends and their one guy friend who has severe diarrhea. That's his entire character.
Zach, maybe.
Zach, what the hell?
Get on a plane. We got like the one flight attendant is also sick.
Yeah, like let's be very clear about this. Like almost almost every single guy that we're introduced to right off the bat has some kind of stomach thing going on, because there's Zach, their guy friend, who has, who has some kind of stomach bug where he says he's been throwing up and has diarrhea all night.
Now you're gonna have to get on an 8-hour flight with diarrhea. You're a dickhead. And
he's still boarding this plane. The male flight attendant, I can't remember his name. I think it's like Ewan or something like that. He is about to throw up because he was partying the night before. And then the co-pilot...
His name's Kieran.
Kieran. So I was close.
Yeah. Already? Oh, no. Still feeling it from last night.
And then the co-pilot, I think Steve...
we'll see if I can find
winds up having to put down his coffee because he is starting to have stomach issues.
Yeah, he doesn't have a name. He's just listed as co-pilot.
Yeah, it's wild that on one flight that's not very booked, we already have 3 people with like random stomach issues. So I thought that was going to be a plot somewhere, like that somehow like
the diarrhea kills the spiders.
Why not? We've seen dumber things in these films.
Yeah.
So again, like between 15 and 20 minutes, the first 15, 20 minutes of a 35-minute film, this film makes no sense.
So then they all got on the plane, right? And the plane is like not even a quarter full. It's you see all the passengers on the plane. There's like maybe 15, maybe 15 passengers in this plane. There's 3 flight attendants and the pilot and the co-pilot, and that's it. The plane goes through turbulence. The box falls off the thing. It's still intact, but the spiders just bust out of the box. It has nothing to do with turbulence. They just bust out of the box. And I'm going to take this minute to tell you that one of the spiders, there's like little tiny spiders, then there's like this size spiders, there's this size spiders, and then there's a spider that is the size of every member of my family put together that somehow was in that box. There's no fucking way that spider could have fit in that box. But it's bigger than the biggest dog you've ever seen. That's how big that spider is.
I got the impression that it expanded out, but either way,
those spiders didn't breed that fast in that box. I mean, who knows? It might be like spiders in the attic.
These are
all of a sudden there's a gigantic spider.
We are told that these are genetically altered spiders. So who knows how big these things are supposed to get once they're out of their box.
Yeah, but the spider is so big. The spider the biggest spider we see, and there's one gigantic spider, is so big that not only could it not have fit in that box, it couldn't have gotten from the hold into the plane either. It's like that. It's that big.
No,
it's like, and you don't see it busting through walls. Like it has to have gone up the hold. So these are things we don't see and they don't show us, but whatever. I also am not clear if you're bitten by the spider, it doesn't necessarily kill you, right? Because the one character, Zach, does get bit by a spider, but he doesn't die.
Well, there's several characters that get bitten by the spider who don't immediately die either.
Yeah.
But we'll get into Zach later on, because what happens to Zach is so unbelievably laughable. It's like Andy Kaufman level genius.
Well, we'll start with what happens to him first. So he has the diarrhea. He finally gets on the plane.
He has diarrhea. Plus he's about to vomit as well. So he's he's about to Patton Oswalt it back, from both ends here. And he finally goes to the bathroom, and a very tiny spider lands on his contact lens and bites him on the eye. Which is hysterical, and his reaction to it is even funnier, because his immediate reaction is to tie his tie around his eye.
Doesn't take his contact lens out, just ties the tie around his head,
and refers to himself as Nick Fury.
Look at the fucking state of me. I look like fucking Nick Fury.
Yes.
It's like at this point I'm like, okay, I could not have just heard that. I was starting to just die in my chair, and it just keeps getting better. First of all, let's talk about this plane also for a little bit here. Where did they get this plane?
Is it the same plane from Sky
British
Monster?
plane. Like this, they clearly got this on German wholesale, because this is 2024. This plane still has the old like 90s.
It has like Danish like letters or something. It's like they're Scandinavian letters.
Danish letters.
It has the O with the line through it and all that stuff. Yeah,
it still has the old like 80s 90s airphone in some of the seats. And it's a double-decker plane, which I think they took all those out of commission well before the 2020s.
Yeah.
So it's like, how are it's so, again, it's laughably bad that they have this kind of budget. But again, they're utilizing all of this space for just straight comedy, because we have an unruly passenger who, there's an old guy like eating cookies louder than apparently he thinks that he should be eating, and we actually, to the point where he's moving so fast we hear the whoosh 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 whoosh. There's
also weird sound effects added into this movie, because there's like a thing in the beginning where Zach gets hit in the head with something, and they do the Looney Tunes like boom, like sound effect.
This is what labor feels like.
So that, for no reason, it's just there.
I think it's trying to sell you on the fact that these are deliberate choices that they're making here. Again, Andy Kaufman level of genius. Right. And so he starts talking to Kiernan, threatening his job, as if this passenger has any way of doing that.
I have friends in very high places.
First of all, no air marshal on this flight. The air marshal would tase his ass for doing that.
Well,
none of the other
these are not American-based flights. These aren't American-based flights. I don't know if there's air marshals there.
I don't know. Either way, like there's nothing happening. There's no repercussions for this guy threatening a flight attendant. So he goes, I demand to go be put in first class. I do not deserve to be with the petty trash here. So they take him all the way up into first class, get strapped in, and they strapped in next to a guy who's just audibly snoring.
Yes.
And again, it's like, yes, I love watching karma happen in real time. And we'll get more into that passenger later on when all the spider shit starts happening.
While that's turning Nick Fury in the one bathroom, the other friend Gracie is having a Mile High Club experience in the other bathroom. Very PG-rated Mile High experience.
That was so good, right?
Yeah.
And that gentleman, whatever. She doesn't want to see him anymore. He did not perform well, I suppose. And then what happens to that guy, Will?
He gets bitten on the dick by a spider.
Yeah.
Just flat out bitten, midstream in clearly the dirtiest fucking toilet. It's I don't know, how long has this toilet been this way? Because airline toilets don't get built up this way. So clearly, again, Danish wholesale plane.
Yeah. And
all of a sudden, spider just jumps up from the toilet and bites him in the dick midstream. Again, I was dying. I was doing everything I could not to laugh out loud because my family was asleep upstairs when I was watching this. Oh.
And then from there, it's pretty conventional. Obviously, we get the danger set. The stewardess goes to the hold, she gets killed. The co-pilot goes down to the hold, he gets killed.
Jesus fucking Christ! Get off me! No! Get back! No!
And then the pilot's like, what the hell's going on? He goes down to the hold. He doesn't get killed, he gets attacked. He's relatively incapacitated.
No, Paul! spiders. Fucking spiders!
So now nobody can land this plane. However, just like in Sky Monster, one of our girl characters knows how to fly a plane for some reason.
It's funny coming from the girl who loves planes.
Do not love planes, Gracie.
Yes.
My dad was the one who wanted me to join the RAF, like him.
And not only does she have the power to fly a plane, she has the power to make her cell phone work, and she's able to call people from the plane.
Corinne?
Dad?
Well, to be fair, everyone was using their cell phone on that flight. The co-pilot was using his cell phone mid-flight. Kieran was using his cell phone mid-flight. Everyone who had a cell phone had a functioning cell phone, which shouldn't be happening mid-flight.
In violation of aviation regulations and physics, these phones were working.
Absolutely. So when she calls her dad for help because her dad taught her how to fly, that my suspension of disbelief was already in active mode. So when she was able to do that, why not? That made all of a sudden this is turning into red eye. Fine, okay, I'll buy it.
I'm jumping around a lot, but we should also mention the scene where, first of all, Danielle Scott's in this. She's like the other flight attendant, and then there's a scene where they know the spiders are in one part of the plane. They're in the next forward section of the plane, and they're safe there. But what's keeping the spiders away from them is a fucking curtain. It's a curtain.
A curtain is, to be fair, it's not just the curtain. They did stack up other suitcases as the barricade, which they eventually do break down in order to get to the cockpit.
Yeah, the spiders are small enough to get into the bathrooms without getting. They establish things and then they de-establish them for convenience, which is totally Jagged Edge. But let's get into the melee scene. Where all of a sudden all of our survivors are armed with the most random assortment. They have tennis rackets, they have the hairspray with the lighter, and then our poor mixed nationality scientist. They basically tell him to go fuck himself. He does not get a weapon.
Oh, this scene is where the film absolutely turns from good to great, because not only are they arming themselves with dumb things like tennis rackets and tea kettles, and I swear to God, a tea kettle is being used. They have jerry-rigged up a flamethrower, which you see in the trailer. But it's not just that they're doing this; they're Ramboing up.
Everyone has been destroyed by these spiders. Everyone's gotten overwhelmed by these spiders. Every other character we see, it's just Mah! But these people go in there it's like every Steven Seagal movie. All of a sudden.
It's like they're aggressively turning their hats backwards. They're putting ties around their head like bandanas. It is, again, just so laughable, and it just keeps getting sillier and sillier. And finally, when all of them are just armed up as much as they can be, that's when the scientist, after explaining that he is the scientist, everything after this, he goes, but where's my weapon? And they all in unison turn around and flip him off.
Hello? What about me? What did I do?
In perfect unison. Again, this is why this is absolutely planned as a comedy. I don't know why I didn't get the comedy tag, but this is an intentional comedy through and through.
All right. So that happens. I think we wind up losing both the steward and the stewardess along the way, because they decide to sacrifice themselves to try to take out the giant spider. All the friends get to the cockpit. I think we lose one of them.
So there's one scene in this where they're trying, they're trying to get the rest of them in there, which again, straight up comedy. Their model friend, I can't remember what her name is.
Beth? Or
Yeah, but yeah, you're right, Beth. She has a gun. She manages to get a gun away from somebody and yells at the big spider going, "Spin this, motherfucker." Shoots the whole of the plane, and it sucks the spider up right against the wall, and it just, all limbs are just akimbo as it just sucked up against that.
Spin this, motherfucker.
It is one of the funniest CGI moments of the film by far, and all of them just run towards the cockpit and manage to get in.
Yeah, and then I think the scientist gets sucked out of the plane. Right? In like a gross way. He dies. And then the spider somehow gets outside the plane because it gets sucked out, but it's outside the plane.
So like when they open the plane to suck out, to basically suck out the rest of the spiders, she's holding on for dear life, but but like Beth is trying to grab onto her. She goes, and then Gracie goes, "I love you," and then she flies out of the plane. And then somehow they're able to close the plane, the plane door. But by this point, your suspension of disbelief is just completely gone. Like you just don't care anymore. And so, of course, they're just able to close it.
And then at the end of the movie, so they land the plane, they survive. The spiders are done. They go through the big trouble of putting 1 month later, right? And they're
right.
The survivor friends are hanging out, and then somehow, even though it's a month later, there's a spider inside one of their bags.
You are glossing over the best part of this ending.
Remember that?
We're cut to Zach, who is scaling the side of the wall. He is now Spider-Man.
That'd be nice.
Ew! Zach, stop creeping around. It's grossing me out. You said
they cannot legally call him Spider-Man, but he is thwipping webs all over the walls. He is crawling the walls. He is Spider-Man. Again, intentional comedy through and through.
Can't wait for the sequel. Let's get to these ratings. Will somehow found a way to enjoy this. I'm not giving it my lowest rating. I can appreciate the things they did correctly. However, again, it requires you to suspend your disbelief too much, and the bad stuff is just bad. So I'm going to go 1.5. Will, what did you wind up with?
Maybe I went too. People are going to probably tell me I went a little too high on this one. I don't think I did. I actually went 3.5. I fucking loved this. It was hysterical. Again, like if you're able to get past that initial 15, which even so, in that 15, it's very clear that they're planting the seeds for just absolute straight comedy to go, to fill out the rest of the movie.
Well, you can find it for free. If you believe Will, you can find it for free on YouTube. It's there.
Absolutely. It's 75 minutes. And it's free on YouTube. You are wasting nothing watching this film. It is, if you can sit through movies like The Room, you can sit through this, and it's exactly the same kind of film. It's just straight comedy, not even played straight at all.
All right. Well, we will agree to disagree. I'm going to have to watch it again when I edit this video, so maybe my score will go up. I have no idea. But if you made this far in the video, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Go to the Facebook group at Why We Love Horror. And hey, join in the Why We Love Horror Letterbox Challenge. It's right there. You'll see when you get there. It's fun. Same schedule as always in the channel. Now we got Sundays. We got Why We Love Horror TV every Sunday. Monday, Versus, you're watching it. Thursday, Why We Love Horror. Friday, Why We Love Horror Trivia. So until next time, I am John Marr, and that is Will Cohen, and this has been Versus.